speaker, we have Mr. Harry Wu. Harry Wu has been a very long time China activist, pro-democracy leader, right, and a very solid supporter of the Tibetan cause. Harry Wu has spent 19 years in a Chinese prison, right, in really, really bad conditions, crazy conditions, that he claims that more than 2 million people are still, locked up in these labor camps. Laogai means labor camp. Not only in China, even in Tibet, there are many Laogais set up. And we know Tibetans who have spent many, many years in these concentration camps. For example, we have Aningang Sandela, spent 11 years in a Laogai. And we also have Ngawang Chembela, the director of Tibetan Song, also spent many, many years in Laogai. Now, the Laogai Foundation, based in Washington, D.C., is a champion of exposing the brutality and the abuses that prisoners face in Laogais around China and Tibet. Their work has been recognized by many, many international groups. Even His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, visited Laogai when he visited Washington, D.C. and said many encouraging words to Mr. Harry Wu that he always keeps in his mind. I would like to invite Mr. Wu to please share with us some of his experience. Thank you.
Friends of Tibetan, I'm a Tibetan. I know Tibetans don't like Tibetans, but except me, okay? As Dalai Lama said, we Chinese and Tibetans, we are brothers and sisters. Many Chinese, same as a Tibetan, was in the labor camps. I was one of them. But today I come over here, I saw a slogan here. Tibet is not a part of China. Tibet is not a part of China. Okay? We way back to the history. In Ming Dynasty, Tibet is independent. The Song Dynasty, Tibet is independent. Han Dynasty, Tang Dynasty, Tibet always independent. When Qing Dynasty, Tibet's a kind of a great relation with Qing Dynasty. But it is not a part of Qing Dynasty. But today, it was occupied by Communist China. Communists not only occupied China, but also occupied Tibet. And Tibet, sooner or later, will be free, will be independent. 6 months ago, in March, I was in Dharamsala. I had a long conversation with His Holiness Dalai Lama. I suggested him to change his middle way policy to independent. Because Tibet should be an independent country. I asked him, what is your exile government? Because India is an administration system, administration center, and not a government. But I also met Sangye, he is the Prime Minister of exile government. I met your Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Internal, and the Parliament spokesman, whatever, is entirely is independent Tibet. China, until today, is still ruled by the communists. But it has come to the end. Just like in 1991, Soviet is no longer as a Soviet. Communist Party disappeared. In 1992, I was in Moscow. I bought a number of the communist member cards. Sooner or later, 70 million Chinese communist members will disappear. In 1997, November 1997, when Jiang Zemin came to Harvard University. I was got an invitation, I went to Harvard. Jiang Zemin was taught in the little church from 11 to 12. And I was the opposition, the memorial held my speech starting 1 o'clock. I want to tell you one thing. Does everybody remember what happened 40 years ago? That means today we are November 1997. Does everybody remember 1957 November? What happened? November 1957, Soviet leader Khrushchev invited all these communist members, including French, Italian delegation, and include Chinese Communist leader Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong talked to the Chinese student and said, well, today is the west wind blow over the east wind blow over the west wind. The capitalism is just like a sun setting down, and socialism just like a sun just rising. 1957 November, Soviet invite all the communist members because they want to celebrate 1917 November, the so-called Red October Revolution. I said, what about today? Soviet disappeared. Moscow is no longer as a communist capital. Moscow University no longer as communist think tank. Why Jiang Zemin come to Harvard University? I remember that yesterday he was in New York on the Wall Street stock market. Oh my God, what is it? As a communist, supposed to have to destroy the Wall Street Journal first. What about another 40 years? 2037. Do you think communist China will still exist? It was over, and Tibet will become independent. I'm asking you, I encourage you, and I will do all my best to support you. Independent Tibet. Independent Tibet. China is a China, but not communist China. China was occupied by the communism. Under the Mao Zedong ruling, more than 70 million people passed away. 40 million people were in the labor camp. And today, they set up labor camps in Tibet, from Endo to Kamba to Lhasa. Probably more than 30 labor camps. And many monks was there. What about a monk? What? Okay. It's okay. Laogai camp is not only in China, but also in Tibet. In 1959, when Dalai Lama escaped from Lhasa, Chinese holding an internal exhibition telling the backward Tibet. But you have to know, at that time, only a small prison, maybe only 100 prisoners, that's it. Today, more than 30 prisons inside Tibet. And so I'm saying, today, Chinese Communist Party, with them, military police and Liberation Army was in Tibet. Recently, I saw a Chinese minister, deputy minister of the security was in Tibet. He talked about Japan. So the people in Japan intend to subvert the government. Most of the people in Japan, they are monks. Do you think the monk will become a petty thief? Become a robbery? Nothing. They only want to say, we want to see our Holiness Dalai Lama. We want to see our Tibet become independent. Unfortunately, today, Communist Party organized a management committed in every temples. They have controlled the religions. Thank you.